Morning. It's now about 10:15 on Saturday the 4th of January 2014, I think this is. Happy New Year to everybody. This is Andy and this is my allotment. I've been down here for quite some time due to holidays, weather and Christmas, other circumstances, so it's not looking particularly good at the moment. The main reason I'm down here this morning is because I've had an email from our secretary who lives just off the edge of the allotment to let me know that my polytunnel has blown again, covers come off it. Done that once before, someone has actually put it back on for me, but as you can see at the bottom it's a bit of a mess. There's a lot of stuff I need to do today. I've got to get all this sorted out. Looks like the poles have snapped off and come out of the ground at this front end. I may just take the whole thing down and start again with it. I don't know yet. Got to get in there and have a look at it. But well, it's a bit of a mess. Quick walk round because there's not a lot to see. I've got a lot to do today, so very quickly. Petrol spinach surviving, as is some Swiss chard there. My beans and everything need to come out. The broccoli that's been talking about bringing that out for months, it hasn't come out yet. Cabbages, there's red cabbage in there that needs to come out. Some other bits and pieces, perhaps I might be able to salvage some of the other green cabbages, and then this whole netting is going to come up and off. Plenty of leeks, doing quite well actually, doing very well. So they'll be in there for a while. Underneath my square foot gardening net, there's lots of lettuce, some radish, turnips, quite a bit in there to be honest. Now under this netting I've got the last of my sprouts. As you can see there's a fair few on there. They're going to be coming out today, I hope. Get rid of those. The bed where the beans were and the squashes is a mess. Need to get them sorted and get them out. And general scene of devastation. Anyway, as I said, just a very quick video for now. I might come back to you later where I've decided what I'm doing with the polytunnel, if it's going to be fixed or not, and I will let you know. Anyway, that's enough for now. Welcome back. This is now about 40 minutes after my last video, and as you can see I've got the cover back on the polytunnel. Problem is that the frame has bent and all the hooks and fastenings for the guy ropes etc have ripped out, as you can see there. That's just gone completely. Now on the inside, get the focus going. Now I've taken all the junk out of it. It's actually looking quite large. Now the problem is this back corner. This is where the frame's bent. I don't know if you can hear on the foot as well, it's squelching like I don't know what. But the frame on that corner is bent, which means that all this lot here is just far too loose. First time the wind gets on that, it's going to hit it again. It's going to push it over. I'm going to have problems. So, I think the best thing I can do for today is get rid of all the junk out of it. I mean, I've had those chairs in the back of it since I got the damn thing. And to be fair, I'm never going to use them. Because they're rusting at the bottom, so I've put them on my decking, it'll make holes and rust marks on the decking, so I'm not going to do that. So I think I'm just going to tip them, to be honest. I'll keep the cushions off them, but the rest of the chairs are going to be tipped. So, what will I do with the polytunnel? I think the best thing I'm going to do is get my staple gun, and at the back of the polytunnel you can see there's a board. I'm going to stretch the polytunnel down as far as I can and staple it all the way along there. On the right hand side, running along this side as well, there's also a board, which is where I was going to put a nursery bed. Stretch it down as far as I can and staple it all along there as well. Get it as tight as I can do and hope for the best. Come the new year, come spring, when I've got a chance to get in there, what I'm going to probably do is raise the level of the floor a bit, because at the moment it's impossible. As you can see in there, there's just inches and inches of mud coming through the weed fabric. What I'll probably do is probably put some sort of duckboard system down so I can walk on it and but still use the polytunnel as it stands. Keep the water below foot level, and what I'll probably end up doing, because this frame is now bent, it's got a weak point, I'll probably end up buying another of these polytunnels. This only cost me £40, I think it was, or 42 if I remember rightly. So if I can find one for that price again, I'll wait and I'll get one. I'll replace this. Some of the broom poles that I've hammered down into the ground have snapped. That just shows the force of the wind that was going against them. I had 2 of them snapped. So what I'll do is have to replace those 2. In fact, I might as well replace all 6, to be fair. I'll put it in a slightly different position than it is at the moment. But that's for future. For today, I'm going to chuck the chairs that I pulled out of it, take those to the tip today, get this polytunnel cover stretched and stapled as best I can, right the way to the ground. Hopefully that will help hold it over the winter into the spring. If I need to replace it in early spring, I will do. If not, what I might do is, if I get the opportunity to buy polytunnel on eBay at the same sort of price, I'll get it and I'll put it to one side and I'll leave it until this one finally does go in the spring gales, summer gales, whenever. Rather than replace it now, might as well get as much use out of it as I possibly can do this year until it finally goes, and then replace it. Get everything ready for it, and just a matter of a clear, warm day to put it up. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. Now, 2013. What have I learned from 2013? What would I do again? What would I not do again? I know lots of people are asking these sorts of questions on the YouTube videos. Right, what would I not do again? I won't do as much square foot gardening as I did this time. I did 2.5, 3 beds of square foot gardening this year, which was great, but the problem is that when you've got as much space as I've got on the allotment here, because I've got 215 square metres, messing around in square feet, although I enjoyed doing it and it was a good way of seeing if I could grow things, it's basically meant that I've got lots and lots of little bits of crops when what I really need is a lot of crop. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to keep 1 bed per square foot, no problems with that, because it works, I'm happy with it, but revert back to the standard allotment growing, whereby you have a whole bed of something or rows and rows of things. Try that this year, see how it works. Beans. Well, if you remember last year I had a fantastic crop of beans, in fact so many I couldn't pick the damn things, and the tunnel collapsed under the weight of the beans because I put too many on there. Not going to grow as many beans this year, only going to grow 3 or 4 runner beans rather than the 30 I did this year. French beans, however, we use a lot of those, so I'll grow more French beans, get those up, get them going. The beans are going to go over here. In the bottom bed there on the right hand side, that's where the potatoes were this year. I'm going to put another bed to the right of those. There's more potatoes under there we still need digging out, volunteers from the year before. And I'm going to have my bean arch across there this year at this bottom part of the plot. And I'm going to put the potatoes where the beans were, up at the top up here. I'm going to have more potatoes this year than I had last, because although we're still using them now, there's a long time to go before we get the next lot. So we're probably going to end up having to buy some potatoes, probably in end of February, middle to end of February, maybe March. Not expecting to get any more potatoes until, what, June, July? At the very earliest, really. Right, what else? Cabbages. I like cabbage, but this year, as you can probably see, I've left a lot in the ground just to basically rot, because I couldn't eat them fast enough. Far too many cabbages for us. So not going to do cabbage this year, not in as many anyway. I'm going to do some. I'm not going to plant them as close together either, because they were just swamping each other, making it very difficult to get in. I couldn't get him to effectively stop the slugs and the cabbage whites, so they all went, basically. So cabbages, brassicas, do them again, definitely, especially sprouts, because as you saw before, my sprouts under here are absolutely fantastic, and the last of these are being harvested today, taken home, blanched and frozen this weekend. That's doing wonderful for me. Leeks, yep, definitely going to grow leeks again this year. Fantastic flavours, really good, and they're a all year round crop, so what can I say? Doing really well with those. Fruit bushes. Now my fruit bushes are scattered all over the plot at the moment. I've got red and white currants in this side, in this bed here that I was given. I've got some black currant intermingled with the cabbages in here. I've got some gooseberries at this end and more black currants there as well. So these all need to move because they're all in the wrong place. I need to make some more beds at the top end of the plot, but at the moment there's just a lot of water on that part of the plot. I need to get that sorted out. I need to get my paths done. At the moment, as you can see, they're mostly a bit of a mess. I've got flags for them, but I just haven't got the time to put them down at the moment. Raspberries. Yep, I enjoyed the raspberries. However, they do need all trimming back. I'm not certain at the moment which is raspberry. Summer fruiting, autumn fruiting, I really haven't got a clue. So what I might do with those is wait and see what happens next year, and then probably pay a bit more attention to them than I have done this time. Strawberries, great. I'm going to transplant out the herbs that were swamped by the strawberries. Never heard of mint being swamped by anything before, but it was. Hanging baskets. They worked well, but needed a lot of maintenance, a lot of water going in there. But a lot of that was my own fault. I didn't put any liner in the bottom of it, so any water basically drained straight through. There was no reservoir. So again, I'll fix those. I'll see if I can get them working properly. Grapes. I've been given a grapevine. I've got 2 more to come down as well. At the moment I've got nowhere to put them, but I'm going to build a bed in front of this wreckage of chairs. Where the wood is going there, in front of that is going to be another bed about 2 foot wide, and it's going to run a fair length in front of the shed. And so when I've done that, that's where the grapes are going to go. I'm going to plant the grapes in there with some training wires, and hopefully they will survive outside. Pumpkins. As you can see the pumpkin there. Don't know if you can see that, but it's started to rot. I left it down here. I shouldn't have done, and it's gone basically. It's going to go in the compost pile. It's rotting away. I've got one at home which is the bigger one, and that survived better, but still not good. So they just take up so much space, and when you harvest them, you've instantly got a glut. So I'm not going to bother with that again. Onions. Now this year we had quite a few onions. They were in this bed here. Which needs weeding again. As fast as I do it, it needs weeding. Anyway, yeah, I'll do onions again this year. In fact, I've already bought some onions, shallots especially, because they were really nice. Get them in earlier this year, hopefully, and they'll hopefully do well. We shall see. Comfrey at the back there. That is going to be transplanted to behind the polytunnel when I get a bed sorted out for it. It's great. It's lovely stuff. Lovely flowers, attracts the bees, all that sort of thing. But the main problem was it just took over my main path completely. So I don't want that. So it's going to go into another bed away from what's in the way with everything else. Basically, it won't interfere. Right. What else? I've got to make sure that I get down here more often. The first year of coming down here, I was down here every hour God sent. Every time it was daylight, I was down here. This year, till the middle of the year, was about the same, but then I've got a new grandson, and unfortunately my attention has been elsewhere. My fault, completely. I know I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have left it to go quite as bad as this. It has got quite a lot of work that he's doing on it. Just looking around, I can see dozens of things. There's frames that need repairing, there's beds that need weeding, there's piles of manure there that need spreading out, there's new beds that need making. I've got a lot to do. And unfortunately, I only have a couple of hours on a Saturday at the moment, because Sundays is grandson time. I'm hoping next year when he gets to walk a bit better, and in the summer especially, in the spring when it's warm, we'll come down here and the whole family will come down and we'll basically enjoy ourselves. Sit on the decking, look at the pond and the newts and everything playing in the pond, and have tea here or whatever, and spend a lot of time. That's the plan. Whether it works or not is another matter. Yeah, it's looking at polytunnel. It's got a distinct lean to the left because the wind comes in from the right. I was hoping the shed would baffle it so it wouldn't quite hit the polytunnel quite as hard. Unfortunately, that's not quite worked the way I'd hoped. So I think the idea is that it's definitely going to have to be a new polytunnel next year. When I actually put it up is another matter. In the meantime, repair as best I can and carry on. Right, what would I do again this year that I've done last year? Well, these frames that you can see here have worked extremely well. They're lightweight, they're easy to get under to weed, as long as you can get there when you haven't blocked it off with flags and with beans, and that is, because that was the main problem with that one. Then you can get underneath there to weed, and it works well. So yeah, I definitely do that again. That is a definite yes. Bean arch, I won't do it again with willow or hazel that we harvested, pure and simply because it couldn't hold the weight when we got a load of beans on it. It was like a shipping sail. The wind hit it and it just leaned and leaned, and eventually it just gave up under the weight. There was no way it could handle it. So I won't do the bean arch with hazel again. I am thinking of asking a local metal worker I know to make me a metal arch that basically comes in pieces, and you set it into the ground, fasten it at the top so you've got the archway, and connect 2 or 3 archway pieces together, which will hopefully do well. Anything new I'm doing this year? Parsnips. Never grown parsnips before. Didn't put them in the ground this year. Don't know why I didn't put them in the ground this year, to be honest. I should have done, but I never got round to it. So I'll do some parsnips this year, which I'm looking forward to. Not quite as many chilies or tomatoes, although they were nice. I grew far too many chilies. Won't grow quite as many as I did this year. Tomatoes, I might grow a few varieties rather than the 22 I grew this year. I might do it a little bit better than that. What else? Can't think what else. Oh yes, giant vegetables. That's something my son mentioned he wanted to have a try at a long time ago. We never got around to doing it last year. So this year, up there where the compost bins are, those compost bins are going to go. We're going to put some sort of bay system at the top there for putting compost in, and hopefully that'll work better than the bins. And where the compost bins are now is where we're going to put a couple of boxes for some giant carrots, some giant parsnips, etc. See how it works. Anyway, I think that's enough prattling on for now. Going to do my best to try and do updates more regularly than I have been recently. I think the last one I put up was October, but I have had technical problems. PC laptop broke, camera disappeared over Christmas. God knows where I put it. It'll turn up just as I buy a new one, no doubt. But well, that's where we stand at the moment. I hope you've all had a fantastic Christmas, and I hope the new year brings everything to you that you need and deserve. And I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye for now.